That's for audio syncing.
Correct.
While I do want to clap for this joyous occasion. Okay, let's start here. It is Friday, November 12th, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
It is 12:12. Wow, that's
wow.
I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I love it.
That was quite a coincidence.
But I think that's an important note here because we're doing our top 5 favorite movies of 2021. But there's still a little bit out there left in December.
There is. So, yeah, we have to make a note of that.
Obviously, we're both very excited about Spider-Man. And by the time that movie rolls around on December 14th, there's a good shot that it will be entering one of our top 5s.
Correct.
But until then, because I'm in New York, felt like we should record this thing together in person in the Vayner office, Hudson Yards. We have our 5 favorite movies. We have a couple other categories, but I thought this would be a good place to go. Now, I do want to note, you've probably seen more movies than I have.
Probably. It would be part of my job, so.
Funny how that works.
Funny how that works.
Funny how that works. But I've done a pretty decent job going to see a lot of theaters.
You have.
And almost every single movie on the list that I have that we're going to discuss today, I did see in a movie theater.
Okay.
And so I wanted to kind of start maybe with that conversation a little bit. Like, you know, we had movies at the start of the year come out on HBO Max, and a lot of directors were pissed. Cough, cough, Christopher Nolan, who's now decided to leave Warner Brothers
altogether because of that, which is ridiculous.
That kind of feels like a big fucking deal.
Oh, my God. It was a huge deal. His first movie with Universal is going to be a good one. Next year, 2023, Oppenheimer. That cast is coming together nicely. So
we'll see. We'll see. Not every studio, though, is going to be as... I mean, it's Christopher Nolan, so yes, they will be like, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
Warner Brothers, though, historically speaking, like with Clint Eastwood or whatever, they say, like, here's your money.
Go nuts.
You.
Go nuts. They're not like Disney in terms of, like...
Yes.
You have to keep this family friendly, essentially, to a degree.
And you wonder, like, with a movie like Tenet, so weird, so bizarre, like, hard to understand. You wonder, like, with a different studio, are they saying, like, Christopher Nolan, like, rein it in. Come on, we love you.
Rein it in.
We love you, buddy. This is a little much.
This is a little much.
Let's start. I'm gonna open then with this conversation. Any movies that caught you by surprise this year? I think a lot of movies were very hyped. Like we went a year without movies.
Right.
All these big blockbusters come into town, and I think this has been a year of blockbusters, and my list is going to showcase that.
Big time.
But were there any movies that caught you by surprise?
It's actually funny you bring that up because my number 5 was...
Start with it.
Most definitely a movie that caught me by surprise.
Bring it on. What is it? Number 5.
Pig. With Nicolas Cage.
Wow.
And if you haven't seen it, go ahead and add it to your list. Watch it as soon as possible because you think, based on, like, the description of the movie, probably by the trailer too, that you're thinking it's, oh, like this is some kind of like weird John Wick type ripoff of, like, you know, these people come and kill or kidnap Nicolas Cage's pig. He's out there and he's hunting them down. It couldn't be really further from that. It's not really an action movie. It's a drama. I'll be the first to say I'm a huge Cage stan.
Okay.
Even though he's had a whole lot of stinkers over the course of the past decade, like,
fuck it.
I'm a huge Cage guy.
I can get behind it. I have no problem. Now, like, I think he's a...
Give me National Treasure 3
oh my
ASAP.
Yeah, yesterday.
I need to know it's on page 47 of the Book of Secrets,
God damn it. I needed that yesterday. Yeah, huge National Treasure stand. Plenty of things that I do like Nick Cage in. Are we good? Cool. Pig. So that's...
Yes. It's just... It's carried by his performance. It's like a very sad but very emotional movie that really it's like, I think people are apprehensive about it at first because it's like, oh, it's a pig. Like if it was a dog, everyone would be like, I get it. Everyone loves their dogs.
Pig, not to be confused with Lamb from A24 this year.
Which is a very, very weird movie.
That's just not me, bro.
Yeah, like, A24 is like you're either on board with some of their stuff or you are not, and that is a very, very weird movie.
I like a lot of what A24 does, and you know, I think like movie nuts are gonna be like, "What, you don't get freak out about A24?" Obviously, they're well adored by like movie critics and big moviegoers. again, I'm a blockbuster guy.
Right.
I go to see the big movies that families go to see, that people are talking about, that are on the commercials of
Right.
sporting events and stuff like that. Like, those are the movies I go to see. I'm not going to go see Lamb. That shit looked creepy as
It is.
hell.
And I'm not really I'm not a horror guy either. But like A24, you know what A24 is good at? They make movies that you probably think are good, but you never want to watch again. Like Uncut Gems, I really love that movie. I've seen it maybe twice or 3 times.
Yes.
Same thing with Good Time with Robert Pattinson.
Yes.
They're The Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson. Like they're very good at that, and you just kind of never want to touch them again.
Absolutely loved Uncut Gems when it came out in theaters, right? The whole experience. And again, that's a movie I think excels in the movie theater experience.
Oh my God.
Which is, I will constantly be bringing this up throughout the course of this list that we're going to put together, because 2 of my movies fall under this category of the duo release.
Okay. Yeah.
That decision for me to go into the theaters, I think, played a big part in why I liked it so much, and
two of mine fall into that category too.
And maybe why other people don't agree with my list. Like, if you saw one of these movies that I'm going to refer to at home instead of the theater, I think it could really ruin your movie experience.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
That was your number 5 pick.
That was my number 5 pick.
Number 5 for me, duo release on HBO Max. I'm going to go with the Suicide Squad.
That was like my 5th choice was between Pig and this. So
here's my big note though with the Suicide Squad. Loved it when it came out. Loved seeing it in the theater. Loved the buzz around it. Loved getting to talk to you about it on Instagram Live. I haven't really gone back and watched it a whole lot since.
Was it back on HBO Max?
Because it was removed off for a little bit.
They remove it, like, because Dune's coming off at like the end of the month, say.
Okay.
They take it off like 45 days after, and then it'll get put back on eventually later on.
I'd imagine I will go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think I've looked up there's like the scenes that you always look up on YouTube from each movie or whatever, right?
Right.
For me, it's the infiltration scene when they get to the campsite and they're trying to save Joel Kinnaman's
John Cena and Idris Elba.
Yes. And they're doing the show off thing back and forth.
That's a great one.
And he's like, non-lethal, you lose. And he goes, exploding bullets.
Everyone, what does he say? It's like everyone knows it's not like that. It's like about like how dope you look doing it.
He says, everyone hates a show off. He goes, unless what they're showing off is dope as fuck.
And Idris Elba's like, fuck, he's
yes.
right. That's a great
true.
scene.
That's true. It's
great
what
scene.
Idris Elba says.
That's a great scene.
Fuck, that's true. Loved Suicide Squad, and it's we don't have to get into the Marvel DC conversation yet. But I would really speculate since 2019, the Marvel DC conversation has really changed. Mm-hmm. The moment they introduced Joker, R-rated film, and again we talked about this with the original when we talked about the Suicide Squad. This is where they can separate themselves.
Right.
And I think since 2019, they have branched off from the let's copy what Marvel did.
Right.
And now they're doing their own shtick.
Correct.
It's really exciting.
Correct. And they're absolutely doing it right. Like with Joker, the Batman with Robert Pattinson, like they're doing it well, but they're still kind of hanging on to those like vestiges that we can do this shared universe thing with like Flash and Shazam and all that sort of stuff. So, and the Suicide Squad for that matter. And then you have guys in limbo like Henry Cavill. It's like, is he coming back as Superman? Like all this sort of stuff.
And then he's got his comments this week where he's like, "Yo, the cape's still in the closet.
Bring him on to the MCU."
It's
like,
a great quote from him.
It to me.
It's a great quote. Yeah. The cape's still in the closet. Like he's still clearly in great shape and he wants to tell more Superman stories.
Of course.
Amazing. Suicide Squad. They go with the rated R version.
Right.
You have this like non-dominant villain figure with Starro.
Right.
But the reality of the movie is that's not the villain. The villain is Amanda Waller's Amanda Waller as the character, and it's the U.S. government, and then you find out that the U.S. government dropped off Starro on this island. So interesting twists and turns, but James Gunn is just a fucking genius. And we still have the Christmas special.
Is that this year? No,
they're filming right now. They're filming
that
right now.
Oh, right. I know they just started Guardians 3.
Okay, so
are
they not
something like last week? Okay. So maybe they are, because that's probably not very long. So maybe they are.
Okay, maybe I'm tripping. I feel like I think they're filming it all at the same time.
I mean, that would make sense if you have them all together.
And it's only a special, so it's probably 40 minutes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it can't be anything too invasive.
Another question that's kind of been brought up in the movie conversation this year in 2021, because we went a year without a lot of the big blockbusters.
Right.
And then even you have a movie, and I have a list of movies that I haven't seen that I did want to see, one of them being The Last Duel.
Yep.
Ridley Scott,
Same
Matt Damon, Adam Driver. And you're like, 5 years ago, I would have been in line, first person.
Night one.
To go see that shit.
Yeah.
Like Ridley Scott. And now I've fallen in love with the blockbuster stuff and a lot of the superhero movies.
Right.
Is it blockbuster overload? Have you felt any superhero fatigue?
Me being the giant dork that I am, not really in terms of superhero fatigue. Will I always go see these superhero movies in the theater? Depends. Like I didn't see, for example, I didn't see like Shazam in theaters.
Okay.
I watched that on a plane, like a year after it came out. I don't know. I just wasn't like totally into like that. I might feel the same way about The Flash, but like Michael Keaton coming back as Batman has me intrigued enough that I'll probably do that.
Even more than just like the Michael Keaton is back as Batman conversation, I think it's opening up possibilities of all the Batmans ending up in weird places.
Right.
Like the idea of Flash being able to travel through time is what's
and
exciting.
Like dimensions and
right.
Exactly.
So I have like The Last Duel on here. Again, I'm a superhero nerd, freak. You know, I love this shit. It was a lot though at times, and it felt like the lower end. It felt like the lower end superhero films. Take Venom 2 for example.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed Venom 2.
Right.
But you packed it in between essentially Bond, Dune, and then the start of Shang-Chi.
That was never going to be successful.
And I wonder, that feels like overload to me.
Sony just has such a bad track record with shit like that, where it's like, it's truly incredible that we haven't had something. Well, we have. I mean, based on just leaks with Spider-Man. Thank God I haven't seen any of them yet. But Sony has just such a bad track record with like leaks and revealing too much information. And we're about like a month out, I think, from No Way Home coming out.
Oh, okay, yes.
So it's like
almost exactly.
It's truly incredible with that. But I think in terms of Venom, that's another perfect example. I didn't see Venom in theaters. I didn't see Venom 2 in theaters. I'll wait for that to come out. It just didn't get me hyped up enough that I needed to go see it.
I did see Venom 2 in theaters.
Okay.
Again, this is like, because we go live every Wednesday, essentially once a week I go to the theater.
I try to, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Essentially that's what's happening. But remember, Venom, or at least Sony, took a real big chance with Venom.
Right.
They moved that release date up fast. The moment they saw the success of Shang-Chi,
they were like, we're
putting it out like a month earlier, 2 months earlier than originally planned. I don't know financially how that impacted like Sony as a business by any means, but you stuck it in between some really stiff competition.
Yeah.
I feel like if that comes out at a different time, maybe even like a February Valentine's Day-ish weekend, because like it is a little romantic comedy-ish.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, in terms of like, that's what Andy Serkis said. He was just like, that's kind of like the dynamic the two of them have. But it is funny that like you say that, because I feel like January and February are like the dead window for a lot of movies, for a lot of studios rather. It's like, we know we have like a stinker on our hands.
Yes.
We're going to dump them here. It's post-holidays. It's, just this weird gray area in terms of releases and stuff that we have this bad movie on our hands. We're just going to leave it here. If we make some money on it, we make some money on it. But
just an interesting point to bring up, I guess, is like the scheduling of all these movies this year. We didn't see a whole lot from January to
now that
June,
based on the post-credit scene from Venom 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's more.
Now it's like, now what the hell is going to happen with that character and how it's just going to intertwine. You almost have to see it now as as a fan of like the MCU.
We're talking about theaters. We're talking about releases on HBO Max or whatever. Not in my top 5, but Godzilla Kong at the time was like kind of a big deal that they were releasing this huge blockbuster movie on HBO Max. That was like
Mortal Kombat
April?
too. That was
Almost?
like late March, early April.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 2. They were like these big blockbusters.
I mean, look at the room we're in. We have Godzilla there. Like that's a huge project. That is $1 billion investment.
And
almost.
that is one I watched on HBO Max, and I didn't love the movie, but I almost wish I saw it in theaters.
That's a theater movie.
Yeah, that's like, it's kind of like what I did with Dune. Like Could have watched it on HBO Max, but I decided to go to the theater because that was a movie that needed to be seen in theaters.
Give me your number 4.
Okay, this is a really new one.
Bring it on.
I think it might have come out last week or 2 weeks ago. The Harder They Fall.
On my list of haven't seen yet, and again, this is 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
On my list of haven't seen, desperately want to see it.
So good. It is an incredible cast. You know, couple Marvel people in it. We got Jonathan Majors. We got Idris Elba. We got Lakeith Stanfield. I love Lakeith Stanfield.
Oh my god!
And this is
speaking of A24,
and this is not his only appearance on my list, by the way. Lakeith Stanfield.
He's also on my list of have not seen yet, desperately want to see.
Now I think think you know where I'm
going
with this. For those unfamiliar, just like it is weird, and I think it could throw some people off because the whole point of the movie is to showcase these real black cowboys that we just don't talk about. Like we have people know who like Wyatt Earp is and Doc Holliday and all these like really famous real life people that existed in like the Wild West, but these are people that also existed that you just might not have heard about. The confusing thing with this is that it's an original story, but it's anachronistic in the sense that these people didn't really interact or like come across one another and things like that, but it still tells this unique story with amazing action, amazing performances, the color scheme, and me, we've talked about it ad nauseum. You already know what you might as well start calling me cinematography Connor because that's where I go with this shit. It's just incredible. And soundtrack, I mean, we got an original song from Jay-Z, original song from Lauryn Hill. Like it's amazing. And it's only on Netflix. It's in Netflix and the theaters, but it's on Netflix.
I went to dinner last night with my cousin, 2 of his friends at Peter Luger's.
Nice.
Very good.
Right.
Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys I was there with is also kind of a movie nut a little bit and was like, oh, shit, you go live, and he wanted to talk movies hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
He's echoed everything that you've just said about the movie. It's on my list. It's pretty really much good. Anytime Idris Elba's in a movie, I'm buckling
You're
in.
You're in.
I'm buckling
You're
in.
I mean, come on.
I love the hell out of that man.
Yeah.
And a great Hot Ones appearance.
Oh my God, the man of a million memes at that point. Him and Paul Rudd. I think came out like that. They are the best ones that ever come on a Hot Ones.
And I respect Idris Elba. Can fight.
He can.
Dude can fight.
By the way, also I don't know if you ever watched it. Luther, BBC.
Didn't watch it.
He just started filming the movie the other day. He posted it. Dude, it's an amazing TV show if you're into like police dramas. Luther, BBC, Idris Elba, amazing.
All right, I'm gonna upset some people here. It's time.
What's your number 4?
Number 4, Dune.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my number 3.
Okay.
So
I'm glad. It makes me feel a little bit better. Absolutely has the potential to skyrocket to like a number 1 spot.
Right.
Really good in moments. Really good in pockets.
Right.
Pinch long. Pinch. Like dull. At times, like not a lot happens per se. Like it's good, but just like the stakes feel low.
Okay.
And the climax thing, and
we talked about it on our Instagram live.
I can't talk about it anymore. But
that was the only time I felt like you on our Instagram lives where it's it felt like you were like annoyed with me because you were just like, you call that shit satisfying?
It's true though, like so good, but not satisfying at all. And
which it's gonna be one of those things where you come back later on when you have the part 2 and. I mean, hopefully it feels satisfying.
Yes. So I had Dune at number 4.
Correct.
Just wrapped up talking about that a little bit. Again, has the potential to skyrocket ahead.
Right.
Give me number 2. Again, I think this is a movie maybe like Avengers 2 at the time, Age of Ultron, didn't love. I look back on the movie.
I still don't really love it.
I look back on it though more fondly.
Yeah, I think that's
than
fair.
I did at the time
That's
of
fair.
its release. It sets up a lot of things, and
that was my main beef with it. Was that it felt like it was setting too much stuff up and it didn't really stand on its own. Also, I just dislike Joss Whedon as a director now.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, his resume of recent years.
Thank God the Russo brothers took over.
Yes.
It's really all I'll say.
Moving on, though.
Yes.
Ahead of the Dune conversation. Although you had Dune at 3.
Dune was my 3.
Do you want to put, why it's there, why it's not higher, why it's maybe not lower?
I think you and I talked about it on our IG Live and we touched on it a little bit here. The cast, amazing. The acting, in my mind, was amazing. Timothy Chalamet, the god, that dude can act his way out of a paper bag.
Yeah.
Can't.
The chosen one.
Yeah.
And it's not just in Dune. Like,
No,
he's the
yeah.
chosen one in
By the
Hollywood.
way, he's the chosen one in Hollywood.
I'm serious.
By the way, he's got he's in the Adam McKay movie coming out next month.
Yes, he is.
Don't Look Up with Leo and Jennifer Lawrence, Jonah Hill. Like that movie very well could bump up on this list. I have very high expectations for that. So
Trust Adam McKay. Trust Leo.
I trust Adam McKay with my life.
Yeah. And I trust Leo to pick out a good movie. So it's not like
Adam McKay is pretty much the director's version of Get You a Man Who Can Do Both.
Oh yeah.
Because he can do The Big Short
yeah.
and Vice, and he can do Anchorman, and he
Yes.
can do the other guys.
Yes.
So he's
Dirty Mike.
Dirty Mike and the Boys. We will have sex in your car again.
It will happen.
It will happen.
We're gonna get some jars of peanut butter. Hit up this red Prius down the street. I don't know if you boys want to join us.
Thanks for the F Shack. Dirty Mike and the Boys.
Which is, I don't know if you've seen the gag reel from other guys.
Mhm.
I'm forgetting the comedian's name who's the policeman who's like running through.
Yeah.
He shows up in a lot of like improv stuff
Yeah.
in Hollywood, Chicago, New York, but he's running through. We found a dead possum in the back of your.
Looks like it gave birth.
Yeah, yeah. The placenta blew out on the window.
It's a real shame. Prius is a great vehicle. I got one myself.
Hell of a machine.
Hell of a machine.
Oh
God
God!
damn it.
Okay.
That movie deserves so much more respect in the general pop culture consensus. I fucking love that movie.
I've been saying that since 2009.
It's so funny.
I saw it twice in theaters.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
It's so funny.
I knew it was funnier than people were giving it credit for at the time. I was
Yeah.
like, guys, you're missing out on like the genius of this movie.
I mean, it's
We'll have to look up the release date on that one and just see what
that's
the
one
anniversary
I
is.
could talk about for hours. I could talk about the other guys for hours.
1010%. Moving on. So you mentioned Don't Look Up.
Right.
So adding that to the Spider-Man conversation
it is. No, it's
standpoint.
getting in there. That's very much a movie that could enter it. Spider-Man 2.
One other movie that I did not see
Mm-hmm.
that I think I would enjoy is Free Guy.
I haven't seen that either. I've heard good things.
I was not excited about it
Me neither.
at first. The commercials just didn't interest me. I do like Ryan Reynolds, but
Right.
now I just almost see Ryan
By
Reynolds
the way,
as Deadpool.
their new movie came out today. Red Notice.
Oh, yeah, I
So
did.
that's on
Not
Netflix.
hearing great things,
I'm not hearing great
but
things about it either.
obsessed with the trio. Absolutely will be watching
Will I watch it? Of course
Yes.
I'll watch it. It's
Come
on
on.
Netflix.
it. And those are like literally some of my three favorite people.
I've got no excuse not to. So
Too easy.
The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot. I mean, how could you not? So
Yeah, I've had
I
that.
haven't heard great things.
Don't even care.
Yeah, me neither.
Literally don't even
Didn't
care.
me neither.
If this is what's going on in my head, I would imagine a lot of America's like this, where it's like, oh, you could go see The Last Duel,
Yeah.
Ridley Scott, Matt David, Adam Driver. Yeah, but Red Notice.
But Red
now.
Notice though.
It's free.
It's if you got an account, you can watch it from your couch. Like
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's a lot more like America than cinema
For sure.
freaks think
for sure.
it
the
is.
last duel is I have high hopes for it because one of my all-time really favorite movies is Kingdom of Heaven by Ridley Scott, the director's cut. I need to emphasize that. The
Oh.
director's cut. The theatrical cut is not good. And
Director's cut.
anyone watching this, if you're going to watch Kingdom of Heaven, only watch the director's cut. Do not watch the theatrical cut. But because it's kind of set, it's like one of those like period pieces, The Last Duel. I have high hopes for it that it's on that level, on Gladiator level,
Whoa.
which is I know it's like not many movies can touch Gladiator. Kingdom of Heaven, the director's cut approaches it. It's in that ballpark. That's my take.
My name is Maximus Decimus
Meridius.
Meridius. Number 3.
Number 3 for you.
And this is a movie that I think, if it was in theaters,
Mm-hmm.
could be my number 1.
Whoa.
Snyder Cut.
Wow.
I put it in. I put it
Okay.
in. I'm a son of a bitch like that. I'm crazy.
Okay.
I'm crazy. Absolutely loved it. Watched it in 2 parts. I did not watch all 4 hours straight.
Mm-hmm.
I have a pretty decent viewing setup at home, so while I'm watching it at home,
Mhm.
I was pretty lucky. It's a good setup.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a good setup, and while it's not the theaters, it's
It's in your mind, it's close.
semi comparable.
Okay.
I had been waiting for this movie for a really long time. A lot of this enjoyment that I had with the Snyder Cut wasn't really even about like how great it was. It was
Mhm.
more about like the resolution I felt.
Right.
Right? I had been battling. I'm a DC guy first.
You are.
Comics, everything, cartoons. I had been waiting. I'm a Zack Snyder stan a little bit,
Right.
like love 300 and all that shit.
Actually, sorry, not to cut you off, but because I watched the spin-off of it that came out, it dropped on Netflix like randomly like a week or so ago, Army of Thieves.
Yes,
It's like the spin-off.
yes.
What did you think of Army of the Dead?
So I haven't seen either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See,
haven't seen either.
Army of the Dead, I had, which was a Snyder movie.
Yes.
For anyone not,
The zombie
aware.
movie in Vegas, right?
Yeah, which I had. By the way, I'm a hater or love it kind of guy with Snyder's movies. That man puts together amazing trailers. I feel like every single movie of his, I watch the trailers and I feel like I'm all in. And I felt the same way with Army of the Dead because it has like such an awesome trailer and an awesome concept. The execution was lacking, and I hope his whole like planned like universe thing that he's doing with Netflix for this pans out a little better. But back to the Snyder Cut.
Zack Snyder, when he makes movies, every shot is like a comic book. Like it shows
Mhm.
you the image of like, oh, here's Batman next to the bat signal,
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
or it's Batman standing above, or it's Superman rising above, like
In
they're-
like the sky,
Yes.
looking down. Yeah.
it's all very, very comic book driven. And even like 300, what, 25 or it's like 50% of the
2000,
movie is
yeah.
in slow mo.
Yeah. That man loves himself some slow mo.
And I'm a sucker, so
Yeah.
that's probably why it works for me so
Right.
well. But okay, back to the Snyder Cut. This was about the resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Joss Whedon's version, where he came in 2017, obviously just awful, and people don't like it. It almost ruined, I think, the Snyder Cut for a lot of people. A lot of people, I would imagine, didn't see the Snyder Cut
Because they couldn't like think of even going back to it because how could it be better?
it would be a grave mistake.
Yes.
If you
I
like
agree.
the DC characters,
I
you
agree.
have to see the Snyder Cut. I've seen it multiple times now since then.
I only watched it the one time.
I think the final 20 minutes is really, or not the final 20 minutes, excuse me, because that's like the epilogue or whatever with the Batman futuristic scene with
Right.
Joker,
like the nightmare.
Joe Magniello.
Right.
When Flash uses his ability to time travel,
Right.
it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really, and I'm not really a big Flash guy. I didn't like him in Justice League that much, like
Right.
in the
And
cartoons,
and-
excuse me,
Okay.
growing up. But the final bit for Flash really turned
It
me.
is. Yeah.
Really, really turned me. Obviously, I'm obsessed with
I think.
Wonder Woman, and I mean,
Gal
multiple reasons.
Gadot.
I know it sounds worse than I'm probably making it to be. Like, yes, it's Gal Gadot,
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, a lot of good things going.
But I mean, man, it's such a shame what happened with
The second one, I know.
the second one because I was like up until probably the Snyder Cut, and maybe even I'm probably putting it on the same level. Wonder Woman was my favorite DCEU movie.
For sure.
Yeah, it was like there, and like Aquaman was a ton of fun, but Aquaman just runs way too long for
Yeah.
me.
And it's
But-
more of a family flick. Like, I
Yeah.
think of it as like a movie for like 12, 13, 14-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean,
Boys.
look, you got the guys like riding like giant
Yeah.
seahorses and octopuses and like a giant.
And that's not a
battle.
bad thing. I
No.
maybe that came across as a diss.
Yeah.
I did not mean
No,
it.
no, it's-
because I
yeah.
really enjoy Aquaman. It
And
just
Jason Momoa is a ton of fun in like literally everything he
Stud.
does. So
Stud.
But Wonder Woman 2 was just so bad.
I actually have it.
So bad.
I have it as biggest disappointment.
I could
Yeah.
see that. I mean,
So-
it's easily one of the bigger and it's like I just heard that Patty Jenkins is supposed to direct Rogue Squadron, which was on the Disney slate of being like the next Star Wars movie in theaters.
Okay.
And it just got pushed
Pushed.
back, and not probably because of Wonder Woman 3, but it's like that's a possibility. Which is a
It
big
is
disappointment.
happening. It is happening.
Wonder Woman 3 is happening
Yes.
with Gal Gadot and Patty
Yes.
Jenkins. It's happening.
Yes.
For sure. But that was also it was just such a big disappointment. I think it had an interesting concept with Pedro Pascal being like has like the monkey paw thing. The whole kind of concept. Then it's like Kristen Wiig as Cheetah. I don't know. It didn't work.
Didn't work at all. Super, super big bummer because, again, like, I hold the first Wonder Woman in
Right.
incredibly high regard.
Right.
Really, really high regard.
Right.
final note on the Snyder Cut completely justifies the Cyborg character. Like,
oh my god,
the difference between what we
Night
got
and day.
in 2017
night
versus
and day, dude.
what we got this year, and happy for Ray Fisher.
Yeah, because
The actor.
he's got his
He's going through his shit,
he's
whatever.
got his,
I'm not
his
gonna.
issues with Warner
Yeah.
Brothers
And I'm sure a lot of it
and
is
Whedon in general.
very justified.
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna say it. Turns out that Joss Whedon's a giant piece of shit. So,
but
like,
so yes,
between
how
the
do
Ray
you think-
Fisher stuff and then also like Gal Gadot and other actors and actresses have come out about him too.
How did he get away with that shit though on the first Marvel Avengers movie, working with Disney? Like,
I don't know. I mean, people like probably because also he hadn't directed anything for Marvel before the first Avengers, so it wasn't like they had like a great track record. We want to keep this guy around.
but they brought him back for Avengers
Brought him
2.
back
Like
for Avengers
he
2.
was okay enough to work with,
Right.
that they brought him back for the
Avengers
sequel.
2.
If he was even like
It's
average,
yeah.
I feel like they wouldn't have brought him back.
No, not by any means. And this is not a slight at any of the actors or actresses involved with Avengers, but I think it just took someone like Ray Fisher to kind of say something and just be like, "Yo, this guy sucks. Like, we need to like do something about this." And not a slight at like Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Chris Evans. Anyone
Yeah, I don't
involved
think you can do that.
It's just like they just they were cool with just doing what they were doing.
Your number 2 now,
Yes,
because Dune was your 3.
Dune was my
Your
3.
number 2,
No Time to Die. James Bond.
same. My God.
All right, we finally lined up on one.
I was really tempted to put this at 1.
I am not. I'm not surprised. You're a much bigger Bond guy than me, but I mean, this one was, and this is a movie I could see is probably based on what other movies come out this year, is probably going to fall back on my list. Will it stay in the top 5 based on what else is coming out? I have no idea.
Yeah. Most likely.
Probably will fall back. It was just such a great send off for Daniel Craig. It was just the supporting cast, amazing. The story, I guess, and the villain were a little lacking. You and I talked about that a little bit.
In your opinion, I
my
liked Rami a little more than you did.
Yes, and I think he could have been a great one. It's just like one of those things where, and we talked about it also, that I'm kind of glad I was a little underwhelmed by the villain because I was afraid that it might steal the show from Daniel Craig, like Heath Ledger did as the Joker. You don't want that. Not in the final.
Not in the last one.
Not in the final send off. Like, you don't want that. So I'm kind of glad I was underwhelmed a little bit by the villain.
Bond or No Time to Die was the anti-Avatar.
Correct.
For me.
Correct.
So you guys are about to. This is good stuff here. I'm really excited.
This is
about
the good
this.
content.
I'm really excited about this. 2009, Avatar comes out, becomes the #1 box office hit of all time.
Right.
Everyone's telling me, Bo, you love big box office. You're going to love it. It's going to be so good. It's crazy. James Cameron, like, come on, dude. Like, this is going to be great. I go, I like went on opening weekend. I did have a tooth removed the day of Avatar. And so I'm sitting in the movie and my mouth is fucking throbbing the entire time. To this day, I hate Avatar. I immediately like get pain in my mouth.
Is it just an association with the tooth, or do you not think it's a good movie in general?
I can't tell you. No, I can't tell you. So I wanted to bring. It's the anti-Avatar for me with No Time to Die.
Right.
My brother introduced me to James Bond when I was younger. My older brother is a huge influence on the movies and music that I love. Like, he's 15 years older than me, so babysat or took care of me a lot growing up.
Going to the theaters together.
We saw Skyfall together. He showed me Casino Royale. Like, this was a big deal. And when No Time to Die was rolling around, he's like, immediately texts, like, dude, we're doing it.
When are we going?
Yeah, when are we going?
When are we buying tickets?
Opening weekend, no doubt about it. IMAX, like, we're driving 40 minutes to the nearest IMAX theater to do this.
To do this thing right.
To watch that send-off next to my brother who
Right.
showed me this movie. Couple tears start going down his face at the end, and I'm like, oh, fuck, man, come on, man. I'm like, I can't do this, bro. Brother, you can't cry because then I'm going to cry. So it was just, in addition to being enjoyable, in addition to being a good Bond movie, it was the entire atmosphere vibe that I went into it with. That made this thing my second favorite movie of the year.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I mean, theater atmosphere has such a big bang back with blockbusters. I mean, I'm sure you remember what your theater was like when you saw Endgame.
Oh my god.
It's unforgettable. It was like a fucking sports game.
It was.
Like when he picks up the hammer, when they come through the portals, it was literally like I was watching, like, which is very rare. Like I was watching like the Jets score a touchdown.
Yes.
And I was in MetLife Stadium with a crowd of like 80,000. It felt that loud. And
I still think my biggest pop as a Marvel fan is Thor's entrance into Wakanda.
Yeah, that too.
Sorry for the delay. I found a Ciroc bottle halfway between the bathroom and
Had
here.
to just go in ham on it.
Had to excuse myself from the premises. It was. I didn't take it. It's over there though. What time is it? What
1
time
o'clock.
is it? Okay, it's 1 o'clock. Because we got about an hour and before Bo bounces. It's 2 o'clock on a Friday. Show up at 11, bounce at 2. It's a good day.
Who's got it better than Bo?
Nobody. We were talking about Bond, about the great experience that we had. We both have it as our second favorite movie of the year. I wanted to bring this up because we mentioned Wonder Woman 2 as biggest disappointment. Another one for me, though, Fast 9. I'm a huge, big blockbuster guy. And, like, I love the Fast and Furious movies. Mm-hmm. It just wasn't good.
I know. I mean, it wasn't very good. I mean, I'll always cape for them.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I know.
They can only go so far, I guess.
And then you mentioned that Pig was kind of a movie that caught you by surprise.
Yes.
And I wanted to bring up two other ones that, although they didn't make my list because I'm too much of a sucker for big ticket selling movies.
Big explosion blockbusters?
Yes. Because I like to get high in the parking lot beforehand with my friends and sneak in candy. Two movies that caught me by surprise.
Okay.
Luca, the Pixar film. Outstanding.
Solid flick.
Really, really good.
Very good.
Very much like up my alley. If I was a kid, I would have been obsessed with that thing.
Without a doubt.
Thought it was just so good. And then the other one, Promising Young Woman.
Yes. I'm so pumped that you saw it and liked it.
I mean,
because that movie fucking rules.
It scared the shit out of me.
There's a reason it got nominated for all those awards.
Yes, and it's really, really good. I see like why it's talked about a lot, right? I don't know what to make of the main character. I'm forgetting the main character's name, but
I mean, like, that's kind of the point.
Yeah,
is that and it's
crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. But I was into it the whole time. Had me on the edge of my seat.
How good is that ending?
Like just so bought in the whole time. It didn't make the top 5.
Right.
Because I couldn't put it above like Dune or something.
Yeah.
But I had to bring up the two movies. And then Black Widow, which was good. Yeah. Just I don't think better than any of the 7 that I just mentioned.
Black Widow would have been better had it come out post Civil War.
Yes.
Like
probably
it coming out now was just completely underserved it, and it just felt like it just felt so extraneous, and she should have gotten her own movie, but fucking Ike Perlmutter, that shithead, was just like, we're not going to give a woman a movie to lead in the MCU. We're not going to give a black man a movie to lead. So no Black Panther, no Black Widow while he was in charge. Bob Iger steps in and is like, oh wait,
y'all fucking up.
Yeah, you guys all fucked up. Let's give them some movies. And unfortunately, Black Widow it came too late. And
yeah, it just feels misplaced.
Yeah,
but nonetheless, enjoyable, very good, and I think Florence Pugh
she's gonna be great,
outstanding,
and she's gonna be in Hawkeye.
We talked about it between. Actually, I need to save it. Okay, fuck. Oh, I almost fucked up there. Florence Pugh is getting like a Patrick Mahomes level contract, as we stated on the Instagram Live.
Yes.
Like, she just balled out in her rookie season, and they're like, "Oh, okay,
we got to keep her around."
Supermax, blank check, Florence. We want you for the next 10 years.
Yeah, pretty much, and
she deserves it.
I don't know what the plans are for her, but I'm excited nonetheless.
We mentioned the possibilities of like Dark Avengers type beat,
which seems to be what they're setting up.
Yes,
between that and U.S. Agent from Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes,
it seems like that's probably they're setting up like a Dark Avengers or like a Thunderbolts type thing.
Thank you. Thank you, Emily. I really wish this was on camera.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, do I wish. Please tell me we can get access to an office cam. Please. Please, please, please. Like, I want a no context Emily page on Twitter where it's like just videos with no caption on there and just be Emily crawling across the office.
Her hand like coming up to grab that cup for
That's
you.
all I need. No context Emily. Outstanding Twitter page.
Oh, we'd get 1 million followers overnight.
Could you imagine then the clip of like, oh, I'm on the podcast stream.
The podcast
oh,
stream.
no. Slump into her chair.
Her popping in the other day. What's your favorite movie? What did you say?
Oh,
drinking.
No. Yeah, she said drinking during the daytime? Is that what you said?
Like, what do you like to do? And I was like, drink outside.
Oh, it was so good.
I didn't know that was an option. I was
Yeah.
thinking it was like, romantic comedy,
I
action.
I didn't say what kind of movies do you like. You
What
said
kind of
what
movie?
you
Okay.
like to do.
After you said like, oh, I don't watch movies, I think.
Here's your time to shine.
It's on clip.
What
It's on
what-
air.
What movies do you like to watch?
Well, okay. Well, for YouTube, we'll go back and insert this. This is all because I crawled to the
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty
you
much.
brought this on. You could have just said like, "Hey, Bo, move the cup."
Move the cup.
You went under the table. Like that was let's up. That was on you. Okay?
Yes.
That was on you.
Correct.
I'm getting access to the office cameras.
Correct.
The security. Me and the security guy are gonna become good homies because I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, Emily, I'm
There's
finding
definitely
one out there. I'm finding one out there." And I'm gonna get real comfortable with security guy. I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, Emily was just
Well,
on
you
one
need to
today.
hook
I
us
need
up.
more
You need to hook
clips.
us up.
I need my clips." What the fuck were we talking about?
We were
Dark
still talking
Avengers.
Dark Avengers.
Black Widow, Florence Pugh.
Florence
being
Pugh's,
an absolute stud.
And then U.S. agent from Falcon and Winter Soldier, maybe Abomination. Now that he got
Yes.
brought back in,
Yes.
Shang-Chi.
And it looks like they.
What's his name? What's her name? Taskmaster.
Yes.
So they have some options here.
Also with Abomination, they've kind of made him like a nicer version of the character. Like he's friendly with Wong, right?
Yeah, he didn't speak in Shang-Chi,
Which is
but
perfect for Dark Avengers, where it's like, they're probably like at their core villains, but they're oftentimes like tempted by.
They need more. Marvel needs their version of the Suicide Squad.
Yes,
is what they
and
need.
that's what probably this will serve as.
Right. And
A
they already
little
have
meaner, maybe.
a little meaner. Yeah.
I think
and they
Suicide
have,
Squad's more comedic.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they'll go for. But they already have it set up with Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character. I forget what her name is.
I found out
The
the other day
character's
that
name?
she's like born into like a billionaire
Dude,
family.
she doesn't need to do it.
I
She's-
had no idea.
Yeah, Queen.
Did
yeah.
not know that
Her,
until
I forget what
recently.
her father did.
I mean, I'm an idiot, so
Yeah. But yeah, no, she didn't. She could have easily been just like an heiress. Now she's just like one of the best comedic actresses of all time. You know,
how does that happen?
she's just good at what she does.
I know, but like
Elaine
I would try
Veep,
and I would
like,
just
you
try
know.
and be like a 5
Just gonna
handicap
post
on a
up.
golf course.
She'll
Like,
post up.
my God, I would be a member at like every country club. I would
Surf
be playing
every
a lot.
day.
Oh my God. I would have so many surfboards. I would be like, you know what? I want a new board today.
Yeah.
Just like
Why not?
so. We wrapped up number 2.
Yes.
I'm trying to think before we release our number 1 because it appears that it's the same movie, which is amazing.
Might surprise.
Whoa! If that's the case, then I'm gonna have some serious questions about your
Alright.
non-inclusion.
I told you Lakeith Stanfield was gonna make another
That's
appearance
right.
on my list.
That's right. Okay, bring it on then. Give it to me,
Judas and the Black Messiah.
and it's on my
And-
list of to see.
And there again, much like Promising Young Woman, there's a reason it was nominated for all the awards Oscar season. There's a reason Daniel Kaluuya won Best Supporting Actor in his role as Fred Hampton. It is unbelievably well written, unbelievably acted. The story is so interesting. Just the story of Fred Hampton and the Black Panthers in Chicago, and how Lakeith Stanfield's character, Bill O'Neill, I believe is his name, was arrested, tasked by the FBI to basically be the mole, and the title comes from J. Edgar Hoover saying to the FBI that the Black Panthers are the most dangerous, the most dangerous thing in America at that point in time,
Yes.
and how they must prevent the rise of the Black Messiah, which is Fred Hampton's character, or at least what the movie is supposed to be. And then Judas is obviously Lakeith Stanfield's character, being that he's the mole. It comes to head like in a very tragic way. It is just, I cannot recommend it enough. It's back on HBO Max now, so go watch it.
How, like, from a 1, so if 1 is like Venom 2 in terms of like seriousness,
Yeah.
and 10 is like Wind River,
Okay.
where is Judas and Messiah?
Close to a 9.
Whoa, okay.
There are some like comedic moments.
Oh,
stuff,
shit.
Stuff that'll make you happy. Stuff
Fuck.
that'll make you, will warm your heart a little
I'm
bit.
soft. Like,
Yeah.
I'm soft sometimes.
It's not an easy watch.
Yeah.
But like, it's also funny because also like that got nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards last year. So did Trial of Chicago 7 by Aaron Sorkin. And it's almost like it's like telling similar stories in the same kind of like time period, the same events, both in Chicago in like those that era. And it reminded me a lot of when Dunkirk came out a couple years ago, and there was Darkest Hour with Gary Oldman.
Yes.
So same kind of like, almost like a pairing that just happened to come out at the same time. But yes, definitely more on the serious side than what I'm guessing your number 1 is.
Yeah, I mean, I was close to having like a Disney Pixar film in my top 5.
Hey,
so
if you're talking about Luca,
yeah,
I wouldn't have hated that movie.
yeah, I absolutely was considering
very
it
good movie.
in my top 5.
It's a very good movie.
As I've gotten older, like when I was in high school, I was like, oh, I want to see the Wind Rivers of the world.
Right.
And like the more intense, the better it is. As I got older, you take on more responsibilities in life. All of a sudden, when I finish up a long work day,
Right.
I'm like,
You want something light.
Yes. And I'm there
get
for the
that.
enjoyment. I'm
Yeah.
there, like, whether it's like with my sister, with my friends, with my girl, whatever it might be, like, I'm there for the enjoyment of
Yeah.
it. And a lot of times, like a movie like those that we're talking about,
Yeah,
they can wear on you,
believe me,
dude.
I get it. There's certain movies that you go out there and like we talked about a little bit before, like A24 movies.
Yeah.
You
hard
watch
to
once.
watch.
You watch once, and it's like
Yes.
and it's why we're talking about favorite films and not best films.
Yes.
because
yes.
there could not be a bigger difference.
Yes.
And a lot of movies that are considered best, like Nomadland, for example, that won
Yes.
Best Picture at the
Yeah.
Oscars this year. I watched it once.
Yeah.
Do I have a desire to ever really go back and watch it again? Not really. But you can recognize why it's like, why it's getting the buzz that it did and why it won all those awards.
I'm not seeing
Yeah.
Nomad.
And see, and guess what? I get it.
Yes.
It's well, shout out Chloe Zhao. We just talked about
Yep.
her latest movie, Eternals. But yeah, no, I get it.
Did not
It's-
make my top 5.
It didn't make my top 5 because it's not one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
It's one of the best films of 2021. Or yeah, it did come out in 2021.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, it's not one I'm gonna go back and watch. Similar with like The Father with Anthony Hopkins when he won
Yeah.
Best Actor for it.
I'm like,
It is one of the most depressing movies I've ever watched in my life. I would not ask anyone to go out and watch that movie.
even Wind River, which is right, we've talked about
Right.
it a billion fucking times, and obviously had the very exciting chance to speak with. Which, by the way,
Shout out.
hot ones. Sean Evans, are you listening in on my press junkets now?
Yeah.
Because homeboy is using my first question, not word for word, but like
I
you
can't
know.
believe I don't know when it was recorded, but I can't believe Jeremy Renner didn't give you a shout. I was like, oh, I just got asked a similar question the other day.
I'm hoping I got it first.
Yeah,
I'm
That's
hoping I got
that's
it
a great
first.
question.
Bo Templin had it first.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go check out. We wrote I shouldn't say we. Bo and
You facilitated though. We.
Bo.
I
And
hopped in for an hour, talked to Jeremy Renner, bounce.
Bo and another member of our editorial team, Elizabeth Pagano, spoke with some of the actors and actresses of Mayor of Kingstown, which is a show coming out November
It's the week before
November like 14th.
Hawkeye comes
yes.
out.
So
or 10 days.
I think it's this Sunday.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think you're
it's
right.
this
It
Sunday.
makes sense that
November
if Hot
14th.
Ones came out this week,
Right,
it comes out
exactly.
on Sunday.
So November
yes.
14th, and they talked to some of the actors. Bo asked a question to Jeremy Renner. Go check out the articles on our website. It's a very good question, very good answer from Jeremy Renner.
Guys, in the span of like 2 weeks, Jeremy Renner and Canelo.
Yo,
for your boy?
you're on a hot streak.
Uh-oh.
You're on a hot
Uh-oh.
streak.
So where's the goddamn fire extinguisher? You want to crawl and find the other fire extinguisher? That would be amazing. Thank you. Okay, my number
one. What's yours?
Shang-Chi.
I figured. And I get it. That's another one. I get it.
I loved it leaving the theater. I think I love it more now, and I haven't seen it a second time. Came
What?
out on Disney Plus today.
I'm excited.
Come on,
I'm excited. I'm going to watch it again.
I am too. Very,
Yeah.
very excited. Excited to watch it with everyone. All three of the groups that I mentioned, you know, whether it
Yeah.
be your date, whether it be your sibling, whether it
Right.
be your friends or coworker, whatever it is, Shang-Chi blew my mind. Loved the hell out of that movie. And I don't know if while Downey is Downey and
Yeah.
he's the perfect Tony Stark, and you know, guys want to be him, girls want to be with him.
Right.
That's that's the idea with Tony Stark. Chris Hemsworth comes across very like relatable in Ragnarok,
Right.
post Ragnarok. I don't know if I've ever connected more with a character than Simu Liu.
Yeah, and Shang-Chi.
Yeah, and he wears Jordans.
I remember we talked about that.
Like, I know that sounds silly,
right.
but to me that makes it like not really a superhero. Like, I'm all of a sudden now connecting with this guy, like,
Just based off his
Yeah.
sneakers.
yeah, and he's having a good time, and he goes out to like midnight food, and he's
Right.
grabbing like cheap, like whatever little takeout
What was
food
his,
at midnight.
I saw because he was I don't know if he was officially part of like the press thing for Disney Plus Day, but I saw like an answer where he said like I'm still half expecting my parents to say like I should have been a doctor. Or a
Yeah,
lawyer.
yeah.
And it's like it's finally just getting through to them, and he's like they're still not letting me get a dog though.
That is-
like,
I've
like,
never
that cracked me up.
related with someone
yeah,
so much.
That cracked me up.
Absolutely loved it. I like a lot of times, you know, the father plays the villain in a lot of these superhero
Yeah, or like
roles. Father figure in some capacity.
mentor.
Excited about the future of the character. Excited about the future of Awkwafina's character.
Yep.
Don't know what it's going to be. And then the sister's a fucking badass.
Yeah, she's gonna be like the new head of the Ten Rings, and
Don't know what that looks like in the future. I don't know much about like the comic book
No,
origins of the
no,
character.
no,
I don't know much about
me
like the
neither.
storyline or the character arc,
'cause
anything like that.
They announced like a bunch of new official stuff today for Disney. Not announced, but
Like right now they're announcing
right,
it, right?
They introduced like some first photos of Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight, some of the first official images of She-Hulk, yeah, and a couple of other things. Hawkeye is like you said is like 2
We
weeks
saw
away.
some stills from Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I didn't get that fucking
I know.
trailer.
I know.
I'm upset. I'm
I
upset.
know.
Like
I
you're
know.
you're a DC guy first. I'm a Star Wars guy first, so I'm
Yeah.
upset. I'm just kidding.
I got
But
to
Still
we'll
want that
save
trailer
it.
though, Disney.
Yeah, I'll save my 5th birthday story, Star Wars themed,
Okay.
for a different pod.
Okay.
You're going to love it.
We can do it when we talk like Book of Boba Fett.
Oh,
and
you're
stuff.
going to love it. You're going to love this one. It's a good one. It's a good one. Back to Shang-Chi, Disney, never related with the character so much. And then the action sequences, excuse me, different than
Yes.
almost any Marvel movie we've had. Very like stunt heavy. Simu Liu looks like an athlete.
Right.
As he slides on top of the bus, swings around to the door handle. This guy looks like an athlete. And then I
Yeah.
see him throw out a first pitch at San Francisco
and just
Giants
the,
game.
just
And
the
it's like,
backflip.
dude,
Yeah.
this guy's fucking
Like,
cool.
that was awesome.
Like, I
Like,
love this guy.
It's like it was such a nice. Yeah, we talked about it. It's like such a nice change of pace, like a martial arts movie. For
So good.
Marvel, you know.
And it didn't have sometimes like the over-the-top kung fu martial arts
Mhm.
dynamic that will take you out of those movies at
Right,
times. Like,
right.
I'm trying to think because Kill Bill is not a good example of like a martial
No.
arts movie, but like Bloodsport maybe
Ooh,
from the
Bloodsport.
80s. Like, but sometimes the over-the-top dynamics of it removes me from the movie.
Yes, I could see that.
I did not feel that way
Right.
in this movie. Like, just badass on every level. I don't know. I'm still buzzing about it.
Yeah.
And like, again, I'm a DC guy. I've got Suicide Squad on here. I got Snyder Cut on here. I got Bond on here.
Right.
And Shang-Chi stood out the most to me amongst
Nice.
those films. So I don't know. Maybe I should have like tried to put together why I love it so much more, but
No,
it's
I mean,
just the emotion I
get it.
feel with it.
I get it, man. Where do you think, sticking with Marvel, I guess, where do you think Spider-Man's going to end up fitting in this list?
The toughest
Do you
thing,
think it's going to make the top 5?
yes, I do.
Okay.
The toughest thing though is that exactly.
Yeah.
The fact that I think it's going to be in my top 5, that's not fair to Spider-Man.
It's already polluting
that
the discourse.
expectations are
So high.
everything,
They're
and
so
it's
high,
so
man.
goddamn
They're
high
so
right now.
high.
I think it's going to be really good. I think it'll be in my top 5. I would imagine it's going to be ahead of Dune.
Okay. I could see that.
I don't
For
know
me
about
too.
after that. Snyder Cut, Bond, Shang-Chi. I really fucking like those movies.
Damn.
So We'll
I gotta watch
see.
the Snyder Cut again.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
I gotta watch that again.
obsessed.
Yeah.
Like absolutely obsessed.
Okay, that's a good stopping point. So
Okay,
good?
so we did our top 5 movies of the year.
We
top
did.
5 favorite movies of the year, not best movies. Big difference in the conversation. I had Shang-Chi as my number 1. You got Judas and the Messiah.
Judas and Black Messiah for sure.
Any big takeaways heading into 2022 after the kind of bizarre last 2 years we've had?
December's got a lot of good releases, and I wouldn't be surprised if this list of 5 gets shuffled around a bunch after some of those releases. Going into 2022, tough to say. There's a lot, I'm looking forward to. The Batman, I think, is
just everything.
It's the first thing that I think of now because it's also kind of close.
And the competition though is stiff. Like whether it be Strange, whether it be is it WandaVision or excuse me is Wanda's second story like the horror one that they're doing is that end of 2022?
Are they doing another? Oh, you mean
not WandaVision, but
like Agatha? That one?
No, that they just greenlit that.
Yeah.
They're gonna work on that in 2022.
Oh, like, are they
what is
doing
the
like
end
a
slate
second
for Marvel
WandaVision or something?
What is the second half of Marvel's 2022 look like?
Right. I think it's a bunch of shows. I think it's like She-Hulk and Moon Knight and the ones that they've kind of like teased today. As far as like what's releasing in movies,
Hold on, I got it.
That's a good question.
I got it.
I forget.
Spider-Man: No Way Home, December 17th.
Right.
Doctor Strange, May 6th.
Right.
Oh, my cup.
Yo, Emily is gonna kill you.
he put it. He was like, "Oh, sorry," and then put it right back where I told him not to.
It's my bad, guys. I'll wear it. It's on me. It's on me.
If you want to keep it there, it's fine.
No.
It's fine.
Keep it in my hand. I was trying to look up on the computer what the Marvel slate was,
Right.
and then I had to put the cup down. That's on me. I'll
That's
wear
on-
it. I'll wear it. Give me a second. Spider-Man: No Way Home, December 17th. Excuse me.
Right.
Thor: Love and Thunder, July. Doctor Strange, May 6th. Black Panther, November 11th.
That I can see getting pushed back though.
I could too.
Have you heard about like what's going on with it? Like like Letitia Wright hurt herself on
Yeah.
like, the
Yeah.
set.
Yes.
She's been kind of like, so like the production's in pause, and then they might not wrap until early 2022. So I can see that getting pushed.
Just trying to look across the board here. Still
And I can
what we
see
have.
I can see like the WandaVision sequel, WandaVision season 2 possibly getting like greenlit based on what happens with Doctor Strange 2 and her.
I wonder
involvement.
what they release first, Agatha or.
Well, if that officially happens, then
Okay, so that's not official.
not official.
'Kay.
The only one out of like the only one out of those like Disney Plus shows that officially has a season 2 right now is Loki. So we'll see.
What if season 2,
What if
2022?
season 2? Sorry, that too.
She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special next December. But
Right.
we think they're filming
filming
now.
it right now. Yeah,
And then Secret Invasion is
Right.
2022.
they released images for that too. Bearded,
Interesting.
gray bearded, grizzled Nick Fury.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. And then I guess Blade will start to be
I mean,
a part of all of this.
Finally, like didn't see him, but got a voice in Eternals. So we'll see.
Okay. Connor, good top 5. Or
This
excuse
was
me,
fun.
favorite 5.
This was
I
fun.
don't want to piss off Emily by putting the cup in the wrong place. Good notes across the board. It's been a bad couple years for movies just
Yeah.
since the pandemic. And I'm obviously obsessed with the theater experience.
We're in.
So
We're back.
I think we're back in and we're getting spoiled now with all these great releases.
We are.
It's really exciting stuff.
It is.
Connor, this was a pleasure. Emily, thank you for the help.
Shout out producer Emily.
Super producer.
She's the best.
Super producer.
Yes. Super
Thanks,
producer Emily.
dude. Thank you. All right. That's a wrap. Gang, nice work. Go 137.
Nice.
Yay.